Hello and welcome to Mystical Adventures. I'm your host, Ann Vivian. I'm so excited for tonight's show. Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio. And welcome again to my show, morning, evening, daytime, whenever you're tuning in, welcome. So before we get to my fabulous guest, I just want to make a tiny correction regarding last show. I had so much fun telling you about dream recall and tips for helping you to recall your dreams. And I realized that I misspoke and just said accidentally, everyone remembers their dreams. What I meant to say was everyone dreams, and I did go over a couple of exceptions. Everyone dreams for the most part, except for if you're experimenting with some drugs or on certain medications. And it's really, a lot of people don't remember their dreams. So just wanted to correct myself, make sure that you got the right message that you most probably do dream. And if you missed the last show I did when I went over dream recall, check it out. It's giving you some simple tips you can use to begin to work with your dreams and actually remember them so you can work with them. Dreams offer us so much wisdom. And speaking of dreams and wisdom, I want to show you the angel card I pulled for this week. The angel card I pulled this week is, trying to get the right angle there. Good enough. The angel card I pulled for this week with Kim Maroney's beautiful deck is Gabriel. There, what a beautiful shot of the card. And Gabriel is an angel associated with dreams. She is also associated with communication and intuition and the moon, the feminine. I feel like the message coming through with Gabriel this week, it's so funny because it really relates to our guest tonight. You can't make this stuff up. Gabriel is telling us to pay attention to our untapped consciousness, our untapped skills and abilities, and to be able to be more aware and use your intuition and your mind to acknowledge what untapped skills and abilities and parts of your mind and consciousness that you're not acknowledging this week. You know, we're in a time when a lot of people are becoming a little bit frustrated, or a lot of people are becoming disheartened and disenchanted. The American election the process is in full throttle here with the campaigning, and Gabriel reminds us that there is more to this reality than what you see with your eyes. There's more to this reality than what might be discouraging. To keep in mind, we have an expanded mind, we have an expanded consciousness that is available to us and that Spirit wants us to use. And I feel this is in perfect alignment. I feel Archangel Gabriel came out in perfect synchronicity to the guests that I have tonight, because she is all about expanded consciousness. She is a friend of mine and also someone I admire and deeply respect. She has gone through a mystical adventure in her life, and she came from a poor Chinese village. She immigrated to the United States, became a PhD scientist, neurobiologist. She went through a process of awakening and expansion in which she completely switched careers, entered into spiritual life coaching, became a business coach and hypnotist, started her own business. She's an amazing mother of 3, and she really had a journey of overcoming so many obstacles. I admire that, as well as how she combines Eastern and Western wisdom. It really inspires and fascinates me so much. She's going to tell us a little bit tonight about using our expanded consciousness by tapping into our unconscious to channel creative material. And then if there's time, I'm going to talk a little bit about automatic writing, which is a related topic about using your intuition in writing. and then we're going to take some calls. So, without further ado, I would love to welcome my guest, Sue Maisano, onto Mystical Adventures. Welcome, Sue.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here on the show with everybody. And good morning, good evening, wherever you are in which part of the world. You're ready for a purpose.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Sue. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic.
So, thanks for coming on my show. You can find Sue at mindrealities.com, and we're going to go over that at the end of the show, too. Sue, please remind me if I forget. Sue, would you just tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about your background and your journey to where you are right now with your beautiful coaching and hypnotist business?
Yeah, sure. I had a very long journey. There's so many transformations. But today, people who knew me from when I was a little kid would not recognize me because I came from a very poor Chinese household. Generations of my family were died in farmland, and there was very little education, and there is no college students. And I was the firstborn to be a girl at a time when Chinese girls were despised upon. So there was not much expected of me. And when I was 3 years old, my mom had a very strange, fateful dream of a spiritual entity coming to her and warning her of an impending doom and gave her the solution to avoid that. But she overlooked that, and then she became very sick. It lasted for the last 10 years, and because it couldn't be detected by the medical system, but she was dying. She was in severe pain, and out of that frustration, she was out of her mind, and she tried to commit suicide. But luckily, when she was falling down from the building, there was a tree holding her in midair. So she fell from the tree. So she survived, and our family accumulated a lot of the debt because of that. And for the next 10 years, I had to quickly grow up. And I realized from a very young age that I was the only one who could change my own fate. So I threw myself in studies, and I always, listened to radios. I was so obsessed with the health-related topics and the mind and how the mind works, because I knew that what my mom had was something mental. It's nothing physical. That's why it couldn't be detected. So I was very fortunate that in college, and by the way, I became the first college student in generations in my family. So I was very lucky to get in college. And in the third year, I decided to fully transform my life. And I wanted to come to America for higher education for a PhD study. And I was laughed at because I was a mediocre student. I never went out of my village for more than 75 miles. So between my home and my college, that's the only places I had been. So for me to have a dream of coming to America with mediocre college scores, with no financial background, I was ridiculed, and people tried to talk me out of that dream. But I trusted myself. There was an inner calling deep within me that I had to follow. So I burned all the ships and made that my only future. I made that non-negotiable. I made my dream non-negotiable. What happened next was the universe realigned itself and brought someone, a professor from the U.S., coming to China, visiting my city, and interviewing me. That was all out of the blue. At the time I reached out to U.S. professors, she responded immediately and wanting to see me in 2 weeks. So that was a big turning point. Is I met this professor who is so compassionate. She's so understanding of my situation that I never expected someone from the Western world to understand my point of view. So in the next year, there's a lot of miracles that happened that initially what my dream was impossible, it became a reality because there's so many miracles that happened. So that's how I come to the U.S. for a PhD study in biology. And somehow I wanted to understand how the brain wires and how we process information and what determines our decisions and our health and our belief systems. So that's what my journey of coming to the U.S. and later I had a spiritual awakening experience and started tapping into my life purpose and why I was able to do something that was seemingly impossible. And how it became possible was because I tapped into the power of the universe. I put myself in alignment with creation. I did it unconsciously at the time. Now looking back, I can appreciate and understand what is really going on. So that's what took me to where I am today as a spiritual life coach and a business coach.
Oh, it's so inspiring, Sue. Just so inspiring. I wanted to ask you the experience that your mom had, the experience of her having an intuition or guidance, and you witnessing her not follow it for whatever reason. She had her own journey and obstacles, I'm sure, but that experience of witnessing that, was that part of your motivation for seeking the answers that you sought in this journey from science to the spiritual world?
Yes, I think it's all part of the journey. And now I understand why I was put in Earth and why I was born into the environment that I was born into. And also because of my mom's illness, it triggered in me the desire to seek the answers and what is all behind that and how to heal. Because I saw suffering. I saw how my mom suffered and how she had the suicidal thoughts. And I had to be the one to chase after her and get her back and to convince her that life is worth living. I need to demonstrate that I can change her situation, that there is hope in a seemingly hopeless situation. So I think in the end, it's all an important lesson. And so I'm very grateful for that experience early on.
The journey of the healer. We have our lessons when we're young so that we have the skills needed to help others, don't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Sue, I just want to also acknowledge all of the discrimination that you have had to face as a Chinese citizen, as Chinese American, as a female in China, and also coming from a rural city, a rural village, compared to a city with resources or a background with financial, educational resources. Your story, your journey includes so many components of the odds stacked against you. And I just think you're such an inspiration. You overcame all of that and, really established something amazing for yourself and for others. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. So Sue, I wanted to ask you if you could, just in a couple of minutes, it's 8:47 already, tell us about your coaching practice right now.
Mm-hmm. So I have two sides of my coaching. One is spiritual life coaching, and one is business coaching. For my spiritual life coaching, I help people tap into their deeper power, their higher consciousness, to manage their emotions and improve their relationships. And also another part of the spiritual life coaching is to help people tap into the deeper resources that we all have access to, because we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, is so what happens is we are perceiving with our five senses, but there's something deeper going on in the background. So we have to get to a quiet, calm our mind so that we can achieve and get in touch with our deeper part, which is super creative. So one part of work is I help my clients channel messages, either books or even their marketing messages, because it's all deep within the mind. And when it's like you are inside a giant room full of mirrors and there's one door, because the mirrors, they're reflecting back and forth to each other, reflecting the door. You're going to see so many doors. It's very confusing, and you won't know the right path. But when you cover up all the mirrors, it's going to be super clear. The door is right there. You're going to see that. So that's what happens is we have to use meditation to quiet our conscious mind. So we close our eyes. We are not, stimulating our external vision so that we can open our internal vision. We can tap into deeper messages within us, and it could be messages that are calling from our soul. That's our life purpose, that our soul is calling us into our own life purpose. But we have to listen and be fearless and listen to the deeper voice within us. So that's what I help my clients do in my spiritual life coaching.
Oh, I love that, Sue. I love that. So quieting your mind can help you get in touch with your unconscious. Do you have any quick other tips you might share with the audience about getting in touch with the unconscious to channel creative or higher consciousness information?
Mm-hmm. The method I fell in love with is the hand induction. Is that you sit or lay down in a very quiet, environment and just tune in and fully feel into your body and settling in your body. And then you ask your subconscious mind to raise a hand for you. It could be your left or right. It doesn't matter which hand. Just ask your subconscious mind to respond to your conversation. And what happens is because you're so relaxed and you're so in the moment, you're so calm, your subconscious mind will answer you. It will raise a hand for you. And when that happens, you know your subconscious mind is communicating with you. You establish a sure channel of communication. And then next, you can ask your subconscious mind to bring you to a visual garden, to a scene, very pleasant and calming place. And your subconscious mind will do that. You will feel like you are fully there. It's like a dream that you're living in that dream. It's so real, you can see. It's internal senses. So you turn on your internal senses, your internal hearing, your internal touch, internal feeling, all the sensory modalities. There's a corresponding internal senses. So what you want to do is to activate that internal senses. And then you can begin to ask your question. Either want to find the purpose or get guidance, so you can begin to ask.
Oh my gosh. I love exploring the unconscious. I love exploring the creativity of our unconscious. And you and I have explored this together. And so I can say to my audience, Sue is really good at this. So, Sue, I am so excited about the services you offer people, and I think she's a really talented practitioner. You can find Sue at mindrealities.com. And Sue, did you have another website you wanted to share?
Yes, I also have business coaching website as my name, SueMaisano.com. That's where you can find business coaching.
So I highly recommend Sue. Reach out to her if you'd like to explore her services. We've got a few minutes left. And I believe we have a caller waiting, Amanda in Antioch, California. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Hi, this is Anne
Hi.
with Mystical Adventures and my guest Sue. Welcome. How are you doing tonight, Amanda?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So, do you tap into the powers of your unconscious? What we're talking about tonight, Amanda?
Um, I don't know, really know how to, get into that.
No problem.
Um,
How can I help you tonight, Amanda?
I've lost some, family members over the past year, and it's been, difficult for the whole family. And I just wanted to know if, they had any, messages or anything.
Okay, well, I can definitely tune in, and I can't guarantee that any one person will show up, but I'll tune in and see who shows up, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Well, I feel a brotherly type of spirit, and I feel a spirit around you that did something in this earthly life that was very physical, may have involved something industrial. Does that make any sense to you?
My brother just passed. He had his own bread company.
Oh, okay. Um, so let me tune into your brother. I feel like he wasn't alone when he passed is an important point here. And I get kind of a playful energy with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he can maybe on the playful side sometimes. Um, he was in a car accident when he had a really bad accident.
Okay. Was he with someone?
No, he was alone.
Okay. I feel like he had other spirits around him, and he wants you to know that he wasn't alone in the transitional process that he did. It wasn't as traumatic for him in the actual transition as it may have seemed.
Yeah.
And he had, I feel like before he died, does this make sense? Yes?
Hmm?
Amanda? Hello?
What was that? Hello?
Oh, I'm just going to keep going. Amanda,
Okay.
I was feeling before he died, it's almost like he was having a rough time, and it's almost like he was being tested. And he's wanting to just share that with you. Does that make any sense? That he was being challenged?
He was having a tough time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to make his life better. In the short time before he passed, he was trying to do better.
Well, I feel like, on one level, he, of course, didn't want to go. And I feel the love around him, around you, coming from him. And I feel he wasn't sure what all of this meant and the confusion surrounding his death. But he wants you to know that he did have love around him when he died, and he's coming to terms with what happened and understanding more sort of the divine timing of everything, and how there were so many lessons that he did learn here on Earth, and that there was a lot of things he carried with him in a really positive way, even though the death, appeared so tragic on the outside. I felt like a protective energy of you, that he kind of maybe protected you in this earthly life, that he wants to continue to protect you. He was kind of like a really solid person, I'm feeling. And does that make sense, Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't want to leave you, but he really has faith in you that you can make it, that you can do beautiful things in this life. And he wanted to do a lot with you, but he's on the other side helping you and overseeing you, and still that beautiful protective energy. So we are coming to the end of the show, but I hope that was helpful, my friend.
Yeah, it was. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, Amanda. Blessings. And I'd just like to thank my guest, Sue. Sue, thank you so much for coming on. We had quite an adventure tonight, and thank you so much for listening. I'm going to wrap up. Can't wait till next week. Have a beautiful, blessed week. I'm at creativepsychestudio.com if you'd like to visit me. Love and blessings. Namaste.